I'd like to call a March, Town of City B in order. Eric Wilson's not available tonight, so I'll be your host. We're gonna do the pledge the flag first. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. Okay, first on the agenda I have is a presentation by Edie Pigford.
I've gotten to do it. And actually, it does save me a little bit of time. Gene, over the last number of years, has been writing a book. It was called Let Me Fly Higher. He got his inspiration from his little airplane up in the sky. When he would come down, he would sit at his iPad and type. And I said to him, I said, you ought to publish that. Yeah, maybe we'll do that. Well, anyway, we never did that. So I was showing it to the kids. And my kids said, Mom, we better publish that. Fortunately, I have a granddaughter who publishes children's books. And it was because of Amanda that I was able to get this done. So in a word of appreciation to the board for their service, I wanted to give one to all the board members. I did go up to see Pete today, who was really doing well. I was pleased. Conversation on the board. And I stopped to see Jamie. I was trying to think of the other board members that went through those almost 8 years. But in appreciation for their service, I wanted to give one to each of them. And I guess I'm going to still have to find.
I have one.
You have one. Yes, you came to my house and that's why I'm here. And I was going to run around and try to find all you guys. And I knew that that wasn't going to happen. So I also have one for you. And I'll have to find the other people, but they are available on Amazon. Both, I think, as an ebook for those who do ebooks and also in print. Just a piece of appreciation for what you do for me, because I live in this town.
There you go.
And I appreciate your service.
Thank you. Now we have on schedule Richard Townsend from Sidney High School, the flood monitoring program.
Thank you.
Here before.
Thank you. I appreciate you giving us the time here to speak here tonight, to let you know a little bit about our program. These are a few members of our flood monitoring team at the high school. We have about, I would say, somewhere in the neighborhood of 12 to 14 members total. We meet every Tuesday. It's a group where we're looking at the weather. It'll be explained here in this as we go through this presentation. Take us about 10 minutes. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask along the way. A little bit about my background. I started as a meteorologist. Both of my degrees are in meteorology. Forecast the weather for 6 years at a company called Fleet Weather in Hopewell Junction, and decided that was not the career for me after the long hours and low pay that I was receiving. I decided to make a change to teaching, and that was the best move I think I've ever made as far as a career because I enjoy teaching. Taught at Sidney for 36 years full-time, then taught another 5 years part-time. I'm now officially retired, completely out of the classroom day to day, but I still do run this project. So I see kids once a week, and during the summers also we do some work as well. So I'm just gonna let them talk. I'll talk a little bit in between, tell you about this project, why it evolved and where it's headed, so you know a little bit about us. So we're gonna start off, and the first one is ADB.
All right, so now at this point, it's been 18 years that this group has been formed. It was formed originally after the 2006 flood, but in January 2007, the Sidney High School was awarded a $150,000 grant through the State Farm Insurance Youth Advisory Board in the disaster preparedness category. Now, with that money, we developed a flood monitoring network over the upper reaches of the Susquehanna River that include 8 satellite reporting stations. Now, using the information that we can gather from these stations, like precipitation data and river gauge height, along with other stations and other models, we are able to provide forecasts back to the town and connected school networks through our website. And we are also able to provide forecasts to locals in potential times of flooding. And this was actually used to send out early warnings in 2011 before the second great flood hit.
Next up is Addie Emerly, sorry.
Fine. One of our goals, as AD said, is to provide the working class and just overall civilians of Sydney with proper time of preparation in case of the emergency of the next flood happening. As you can see in the graph from the flood of 2007 to 2011, we were able to gauge what was happening and warn people in time, and it showed a clear reflection on how people had enough time to prepare and evacuate before the next flood happened.
As far as locations of the stations that we installed in 2007, what we found in 2006 was that there was a lot of missing data that we needed during the flood of 2006. It really wasn't expected that the water was going to rise that high, and it did. It surprised a lot of community members and any officials in the community as well. There were virtually no, except for a few spots, weather stations and rainfall gauges in 2006. So through the grant in 2007, Sidney's down here just as a reference. We have a stream gauge on the river in Sidney. It's on Egley Machine Land. And we also have a stream gauge on Carrs Creek just outside of Sidney Center, and also a corresponding rain gauge upstream from Carrs Creek as well, because as everybody knows, Carrs Creek is prone to flash flooding. And so it's one we wanted to keep an eye on. We also have rainfall stations scattered geographically throughout the area. So there's one in Worcester, Milford, Hartwick, Edmiston, and Plainfield. And the students will tell you how these are all linked and how we can communicate and how we know what data we're getting. So I won't say too much because that's what I have a tendency to do, is talk too much. Okay, Lucas Goodspeed is next.
So all of our stations report to the GOES East satellite once every hour. We receive this information from our stations and other governmental stations in our network through a dedicated computer. We use this data from our stations for our forecasts and also our research. And that is what our Plainfield station looks like.
Next is Zoe Brainerd.
So we receive information from all of these stations about the health of them and kind of just like maintenance stuff. We receive that information on an hourly basis. And when that information comes back and we get like flagged that something's not working right or it's broken, we reach out to our technicians at OTT Hydromet Corporation for any of those like repair and maintenance things. All of our like data and information can be accessed through hydrometcloud.com with the username Sidney Public and the password is flood. And this is just what the website looks like. It's a little screenshot of it. It's showing the precipitation accumulated at our Hartwick station at about, I think it was January of 2022, and this one's from.
Thanks. Now let me see if I can do this as an old dog trying to remember how to do old tricks. This is Hydromet Cloud. And again, as Zoe said, everyone is allowed to access this. So if you'd like to, you can get online. The address is again, hydrometcloud.com. I do have copies of the presentation here too up front if people need it. And it's very, very user-friendly. This is again, sort of similar map to what you saw before as far as where our stations are located. What we like to use is much more, well, maybe I can't do it here. I'm not sure. That's right. We can very quickly access any kind of information we want. So we're looking at our stations right now. I just selected precipitation. It's probably not a good thing because I don't know if we've had any precipitation. So let me try that for a bit longer. But you can go back, I think a long period of time and take a look at what's going on as far as past data goes. This is nice because this gives us an indication of what kind of precipitation is falling all across the watershed. We can then take that information and put it into a forecast, very easily read. And again, if you'd like to access that, this username and password again are in that packet. We do have a problem right now at the Edmiston station, and Mr. Townsend's been a little lax in getting out there. I think there's just most likely something stuck in the gauge, and that's usually what happens, but everything else is functioning fine there. All right. Next up is Eddie again. This is yours.
We currently update our weather forecast whenever excessive rainfall is expected. We provide links through the National Weather Service's hydrometeorology. I'm
That's
so
a tough
sorry.
one. It's okay, it's a tough one.
Our automated data system. Visitors can receive hourly information from all of our stations through these links.
So not only do we have the hydromet cloud, you can also go to our school website. And if you go to district info, scroll down, you will find the flood monitoring program. And there you're gonna see just a little blurb about what we've been up to lately. If there's any threatening weather, you'll find a forecast there as well. But otherwise, we don't write a forecast every day. It's only when something big may come along. And what's nice is this gives you links to just about everything you need here. You're gonna see the data displayed in slightly different ways because this comes from the National Weather Service. And of course, I picked one that's not gonna be great. So feel free. And again, it hasn't rained in 7 days, so you're not gonna see too much. Let me try that one more time and I'll pick something which I know it'll show you something. This is a good one because this is the Sidney stream gauge. One thing you'll notice is it doesn't report like a normal stream gauge does. If you've ever looked at these, they're reporting like 5 to 12 feet or something like that. And you'll notice ours, crazy numbers. What's 972 feet mean? We decided when we established this, it's better to go with height above sea level. So if you know what your basement is in Sidney, in terms of the height above sea level, you can equate that to what the river's doing at the same time. So that's why we did it. It was more for a public concern, so people would have some idea of exactly where they were at that stage. Next up is Asian. Just a second, there we go.
Now, this is how we actually take the data that we're getting from these gauges and predicting how much the river is going to rise with however much precipitation we get. So we use the data from the 7 precipitation stages and 4 of the river gauges, 2 of which are USGS gauges, to supply us all of our information. We're able to take the data points and plot them to create this line, which we use to forecast. We say, okay, we've gotten 2 inches of precipitation here. We can follow the line and make a prediction that it's going to be about 5 feet of rise in the Sidney River. Now, if you look up here to this point, that there is the flood of 2011, which we were able to successfully predict. But you can see, like, at the time of 2011, the ground was really saturated. It already been raining at it for some period of time. So that's actually how it ended up jumping up so high above the prediction, above that predicted level.
And Zoe.
So over the summer, we do, normally it's like a week or 2 weeks over the summer. We go to the majority of our stations and we just do some maintenance work. We try and get rid of like any vines that have grown up on any of our stations. We had a tree fall 2 summers ago, I think, and it hit one of our satellite things over there. I don't know, I think it's still broken like that.
It still works. We haven't.
It works, but it's a little
Planning on
broken.
fixing it this summer.
This past summer was my 2nd year of doing it, and I plan on doing it again this summer. I really enjoyed our summer work. And it was just a nice way to be involved in our club, but also be giving back to the community. And yeah, we kind of just do maintenance work over the summer, but it's still quite fun because we get to do it with our peers, so.
Lucas.
So we have been able to make vital repairs and replacements to our Sidney River Station and the Carrs Creek Stream Gauge. Thanks largely to the donations made by the Unitigo Science Foundation. Our most pressing need is to replace the satellite communication devices currently installed, as these will become obsolete on May 31st, 2026, which is coming up pretty quite soon. These devices have been in service since 2007 and 2008. 5 of the new communications have been installed through grants and donations from Rotary, the Unitigo Science Foundation, and the New York Central Mutual Life Insurance Company. 3 more will need to be installed at a cost of roughly $3,000 each.
There's just a few pictures of the installation we did at Hardwick, November of 23, I think it was. What you're seeing in the upper left is the old satellite communicator that needs to come out. And then in the next picture over, it's a little hard to see, the students pointing at it there, that's the replacement. You can see the change in technology in the past 17 years and how things have been reduced. This should keep us going as far as those communicators are concerned for another 15 to 20 years before things change again. So we should be in good shape once all of those have been changed. Zoe is next.
Hi again. So I bring in good news this time. The Susquehanna River Basin Commission has awarded us a grant of $5,000 towards the purchase of these SatLink 3 light devices. And we will be ordering these devices with the help of that new donation. And we received that from the Unitigo Science Foundation. This grant just further helps us build and better the community, especially with the weather stuff, like we get to report out more. And it's just kind of further expanding our knowledge and our ability to help around.
And obviously, the community has really helped us a lot in this project. It's from all over. The money has come from so many different sources. And it's great to see that involvement. We're almost there. We need one more SatLink to be complete, and we'll have the entire network reestablished and ready to go for, again, a long period of time. There are other minimal costs that come along in terms of batteries, solar panels need to be replaced. And occasionally, the only other big thing that may go bad is one of the stream gauges. That could be a little bit more costly. But right now, we feel fairly solvent and are in pretty good shape. We're just looking for that last donation as far as the last SatLink station is concerned. So everything looks good. And I'll open it up to any questions if anybody does have any. I'm sorry I sat with my back to the board the entire time. I'd also like to thank Kevin Green because he has been absolutely wonderful as far as finding sources for us to write grants, to get funding for. That's the only reason I have the Susquehanna River Basin Commission involved in all of this. We've tried the O'Connor Foundation, a few others haven't been quite as successful there, but it's been a really great project and we hope it continues, and I'll keep doing it for as long as I can keep doing it. Any questions at all?
I have one.
Yeah.
Now. When we had the flood in 2006, and the rivers rose like crazy. All of the debris and the trees were falling all along Susquehanna River, and it took years before they dredged it enough and cleared out a little bit along those creeks. Do you stay in contact with them, or do they advise you? Are you aware of any sporadic or yearly cleanings, anything? Because that would make a difference in your rising or falling of your gauges.
Yeah, and I don't really have any communication that usually would be, I would think through DDC, it would be through them. And I know in the past, and again, this is just me speaking off of what I remember, they're very, very reluctant to go into a stream and disturb it to begin with. And I know in 2006, I think they restriction for a period of 6 months or something, they went allow a lot of that done, but they don't like to bother a stream bed for as much as. We really don't have much about that. And, you know, ours is much more the forecasting end and us just trying to get people out of harm's way. You know, get your property to the second floor if you can, or move it out entirely before the flood comes. Because what we find with this is that usually you've got a lead time of about 12 to 14 hours before the river's actually going to peak. When the water falls, then it's gonna take about 12 hours before it peaks. 2011 was an exception because the rain fell so close to us at that time. We didn't have really much lead time, but it still was very valuable. So we're much more on that side of what can we do in the immediate future and don't have much to do with the mitigation piece of it. Yeah.
In terms of like the logging of that information, is that available for people to use for like prescriptive building planning or new construction, something like that as well, in terms of monitoring where that flooding has been in the past and those high waters and.
It's all public information, so I would say yes.
So what are the data points you monitor? Like, are you doing speed as well as height?
One part of the river gauge is a bubbler, and so what it does, it's a machine like deep at the base of the river, and it measures how much force it takes to push out a bubble, like a controlled amount, and it computes how much force it's taking to push out a bubble to determine the amount of water that's above it. And so that is how that's how we measure just river height from using that bubbler. But in terms of speed, we don't measure that.
And speed and volume are tough for us to do.
Yeah, I was curious. I live on Curtis Creek and I enjoy watching.
First Creek is actually one of them that does have a bubbler. That's, I think it's that one in Sydney's have a bubbler, so those are the plus side of those districts.
You really watch it to see how it's, yeah.
Yeah.
Can you just repeat the username and password for?
The username is Sidney Public.
Okay.
And the
How long
password
will it be?
is flood, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Like all the case?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, everything's lowercase. Yeah. Any other questions? All right, thank you very much. I do appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great work.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good one. Great job.
Very informative.
I'm just gonna leave you right here.
Well, moving along, folks, I'd like to, get approval for the, February minutes that we had here.
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
All in favor? Okay. Move on to the approved payment of bills, the general aid fund, 25-73 through 25-102, in the amount of $88,925.33.
I'll motion. I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
General B fund, 25-5, amount of $5,995.67.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, that's not a real.
Yeah, that's not a real number.
Well, the other commas in the. Oh, you're missing the comma.
Yeah.
No, it's-
5,000,000.
No, it's not
Yeah.
that. It's $5,995.67.
That makes a big difference.
Can I get a motion to approve that?
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, East Sydney Lake, 25-7 through 25-8, amount of $2,341.40.
I'll motion. I'll begrudgingly second that.
All in favor?
Aye. I'll talk to that. finance.
City Center Lighting, 25-4 through 25, in the amount of $362.40.
I'll second it.
Who did it first?
Kevin, well, with you? I heard Kevin this year. Both did it.
Okay, and who seconded it?
Well,
Thank you.
All in favor?
Right.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Total general fund vouchers are 97,624.80. Moving on to the highway DA fund, 2525 through 25-43, an amount of $66,212.75.
I'll move. Also.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Highway DB fund, 25-3, an amount of $4,900.
Like that motion. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Total highway fund vouchers, 71,112.75. CM Hospital Fund, 25-44 through 25-62, in the amount of $51,471.64.
No motion. I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Good. Total vouchers paid, $220,209.19. There's no correspondence here.
Yes.
Okay. Don't see it written down anyways. Monthly reports, the supervisor, bookkeeper, and town clerk. Clerk is submitting checks totaling $1,171 in fees collected during February. Moving on to all reports. Cody? Somebody.
You go ahead.
The highway department has been moving forward on our spring projects. We're currently hauling in sand as well as fixing drainage issues and culvert pipes that were damaged by the frost and the thaw. I need the board to make a motion of approval to accept my ad for the fuel bids for the town of Sidney. We gotta put it in the paper for 2 weeks. And I also need another motion of approval for the ad for the mowing bids. Nothing has changed from last year.
Can they be combined or you want?
That's two different
They have to
motions.
be
Yeah.
separate. They have to be
Okay.
separate.
All right, so
I'll make that motion on the first one.
which is- Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Nothing has changed, but if you guys wanna read through it, you're welcome to. I got together with Nate and we discussed the fuel quantities, like heating, et cetera. And there's only a couple we bumped up just to be safe, but it doesn't change anything. The other motion of approval we need to re-up the 284 agreement between the highway department and the board.
We're gonna do the mowing.
No one.
I'm a little
We
confused.
only did the fuel bits.
Right.
So I'll motion for the mowing. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah.
Now that.
So we need to re-up the 284 agreement between the highway department and the board. The only thing that changed on that was the amount and the general repairs went up to 15,000 that we moved in the budget. Other than that, everything is the same, other than it's just a new year. So if I could have you guys sign that, and I'll get it to Eric.
I need a motion.
I'll make that
It
motion.
allows Cody to spend the money he needs to run a shop, general repairs, improvements.
I'll second.
Yeah.
The last thing I have is we came across the major issue on Plankenhorn Road. The heavy farm machinery and trucks have destroyed the road. The highway department is currently coming up with a plan to fix it. And we also will be in contact with the farm to see what we can do to maybe prevent this from happening every spring. The church had put in a complaint on the road also. So hopefully everyone knows that we're pretty proactive with trying to fix it. It's gonna take time, but we're gonna do what we can.
Is it a yearly thing?
I'm sorry.
Is it a yearly thing?
Pretty much since,
It wasn't until recently.
yeah, it was really bad this year.
Oh,
They had a lot more.
Well, they're taking 18 wheelers, that's true, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I'm hoping to come up with a plan to at least have them come in on the lower end where there isn't a church and housing.
Sure.
Yeah, destroy my driveway more.
Like, you can fight with the county. No, hopefully we can come up with something. So. That's all I have.
Sheila?
Supervisor. Nothing from the supervisor, the new thing.
Eric's not here.
Well, do you have anything?
Yeah, I do, but I'm waiting for new business to go.
Okay. Actually, I have actually nothing really going on. Taxes are still coming in and that's about it.
What's your new webinar tool?
Oh, what about my new webinar? So I have a TV in my office, so Julie and I can actually do webinars together instead of trying to remember my laptop and having to be on each other's laps, basically, to actually be able to do the webinars that I attend, and it's nice to have my deputy able to join in, so when we have them, we have a screen now that we both can actually do our jobs and keep an eye on the webinar so we can keep updated for training. I have a training in April coming up as
I
well.
thought I saw the prices right on there the other day.
I saw my children.
All my children.
It's never turned out.
Okay, let her up now. Committee reports, moving on. As far as the highway goes, Cody and I talked a lot, and he's on top of things that, you can tell him if you have something going on, and you can see a major pothole, or, roads crumbling, signs missing, these type of things, he's right there.
Email me too.
Yeah. Okay. Other than that, I don't have anything, with the highway myself. We're on the hospital.
The only thing I have, God bless you, oh, you fell asleep.
No.
It sounded like a snore. Sorry. The only thing I have for the hospital right now is I know this is an ongoing drama, but upgrading the fire system, and I'm working with Nate to get me a meeting with the vendor, so to figure out how we're gonna handle the communications for this fire alarm system, but that's all I have on the hospital.
Now, have you been involved in that, in upgrading the hospital? A few words on that?
I walked around with Nate the other day. I'm gonna schedule a, full inspection with him soon. He did quite a lot of work there. He replaced that generator door, that's a new door in place, fire door. I haven't seen anything on the new annunciator panel or the fire alarm equipment, but I'm sure it's fine for the building.
I think they're working there now. They told me the other day that Delaware County Mental Health may come in there.
Yeah, he said that.
Right, so that's not there yet, but looking forward to that. Hopefully they'll pay us money.
That would be nice.
Yes. How about insurance?
I emailed them about, starting their trainings that they have for things. I don't know if they've reached out to you or not.
Not yet, but I do wanna touch base on something. So with this new insurance company, our boiler inspections no longer go through the old company, just so
Oh, okay.
everyone knows.
Okay.
In the process of getting all the new information from Jill.
Yeah.
So once I get all that, I'll send it out, so
Okay.
everyone's on the same page.
Is there any problem with like scheduling because of this or?
So the highway department boiler was out of inspection, and then I had the company come in. It was right when we were doing the switch on insurance, so
Oh,
the
okay.
company that was with our previous insurance company came and inspected it,
Mhm.
and they didn't put it on file.
Oh,
So I called to have them come back, and they said, we cannot come because we're not covered.
okay.
So that's how I
Can they-
found all this out.
Can they get you a copy of the report or what the inspection was?
No, they will not get it.
Okay.
So anyways, Jill's giving me that information, and they're scheduling another inspection.
How much is it? Do you know what the BTU of that is?
Offhand, I do not.
Okay, zoning and planning. Paul?
I was at the last meeting.
Oh, I was there, wasn't
Yeah, you were.
I? Yeah.
I'm
Some folks are there, some folks are here, you know, and I thought it was a great
I'm
meeting.
not, to be honest with you, for the next couple of months, I'm not gonna be available on Monday, because I
Okay.
have this family thing going on in my
Okay,
downstate.
I'll keep you apprised.
Yes.
Yeah. We still are collecting some of the questionnaires still. And, Shelley Bennett's gonna pick them up and work with them and give us a report on that. But she'll be, I think she'll be at the next, we should be at the next meeting, we paid her to be there. She'll be at the next meeting and she'll be able to elaborate a lot more than I can on it. So I'm very interested in, working with all you guys on this whole thing is, you know, getting involved in it, really. It'll be fun, you know. And it's the third Monday at 6 o'clock.
So this coming
May
Monday?
17th. It's
This
May
one?
7th, it's, March
March
17th.
St. Patty's Day.
Yeah, we're green.
Okay.
We're agreeing, yeah. That's the only plan. Okay, East City Lake, any questions on the, anyone? East City Lake, John is not available tonight, our manager. I talked to him on the phone, he said that the tree cutters are coming to take down some trees that needed to be removed. They need to do some electrical work and the playground will be up and running. But we need to, he really needs summer help bad in the office, you know, I mean, take money and rent places out and stuff, and so we need to make a motion to allow him to do that, and then Sheila can put it in the paper with the particulars. But, you know, it'd be a great, you know, for a retired person job, it'd be great, you know. We can do it.
You're retired.
Yeah. So can I get a motion, we can hire somebody to help John out?
I'll make that motion.
Give me a second.
Second.
Kevin, second. All in favor?
Aye.
That's good. That's good. Okay, finance, Eric's not here, Paul, you got anything?
Yeah, I mean, town's doing fine, I spoke to Eric earlier, but,
Okay,
I have one issue, you know, and it falls under East Sydney Lake. Now, I looked at the bills, okay, the last actual meter reading was November. So from November to now,
So,
there's absolutely no way. We have a park that closed in September. Okay, but yet we got a $2,000 bill for electric from NICEAG
for the winter.
for the winter. And all the meters are pulled. So I think that I'm gonna question it.
yeah,
I'm definitely, I'm questioning,
it'll be in a minute.
just for what it's worth. I mean, I myself got a $1,300 bill and I'm not even using electric this year, I'm using wood. And it's, I don't know what they're doing out there, but it's an ongoing saga.
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. But, I'm actually questioning if it's okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be, it'll be in a
Because
minute.
this is
We'll revisit it.
ridiculous. How do you get a $2,000 bill when the park's closed? That's all I have.
About IT.
So that's me again. All right, so, Ryan will be back, Sheila, Ryan's gonna come back on the 21st, first day of spring, to finish the other closet. Put the rack on the wall. I'm gonna try to get him to the 2 lines for the, DMV for the, wireless print. The 2 lines, the wires for the wireless printer. That doesn't make any sense, but it's the truth. I'm working, the video conferencing system is set up. I mean, I have the guys in the back end, working on the integration to the website. I'm just waiting for Nate to move all this stuff to that wall, so I can put that monitor on this wall. We need to set up a Zoom account for the town. Currently, we use Miratex. And I know someone, I think it was you. There is an iCal on, you could click on the actual event and download the calendar. Right?
Sure.
That's all I have.
Okay. So we'll be a big screen up here, and you'll be able to see it from back there, and you'll be able to see it from home also. To monitor the meetings.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun and stuff.
Okay, DCO, Kevin,
Nothing really.
how's she doing?
Okay.
Did I sign a voucher for her?
There wasn't anything.
I don't remember
I
seeing.
don't know, so we-
I
Yeah,
didn't
she said there
receive-
was like nothing this month, so a
Okay.
couple licenses and that was it.
And as far as the justice goes, I've been in contact with the judge and he's due for an audit. The state mandates at this time of year, so, probably early next week, so we can report on it in next month's, meeting. Oh, new business.
This is you.
This is you now.
All right. And there with me
Waiting
now.
all day.
Okay, I'm gonna report on, adult use cannabis. All counties in New York City are eligible to receive tax revenue from the sale of adult use cannabis products sold within their jurisdiction. Office of State Controller is responsible for making tax revenue payments to counties in New York City. We anticipate that, this is from the county, or the state actually, we anticipate that most of these payments will occur in January, April, July, and October after retailers have filed quarterly tax returns and remitted payment of taxes due to the State Department of Taxation and Finance. We have processed tax revenue payment for your county in an amount of $16,310.99.
That's great.
It's one quarter. Upon receipt of these tax revenue distribution, the county will retain 25% of the tax revenue that is distributed and has 30 days to distribute the remaining 75% to cities, towns, and villages that host retail or multiple retail dispensaries within the county, which we have one here. So,
How many are there in Delaware?
I just think there's a couple. I think Hancock's got one. They want to put one in down right now.
I think there's only, what, 4 or 5?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Really. I'm just starting to report on this, so I'll research it countywide and I'll be able to report on it a little bit deeper next time. But what happened is when this came about, you either opted in or opted out. If you opted in, you got the tax money. If you opted out, you didn't get the tax money. And my impression was that I wasn't gonna, vote for it. And then the guy came and gave a little report on it. And it looked like to me like it was coming anyway, so it's getting shoved that down your throat. Yeah, give us the money. Why not? Because it helps with your taxes down. It's revenue. So I'm pretty happy about this starting up like this. And we'll get more reports along the same route quarterly. Big figures. Okay, comments from the floor.
Can I just do an unfinished business?
Sure.
Regarding the CDBG grants with Delaware Opportunities. I spoke with Shelley Bartow earlier today, the director of Delaware Opportunities. And they do have some things that they are planning to work with us on.
Mhm.
It's just that with the uncertainty of federal funding, they're not really sure how things are gonna go right now. So that's kind of up in the air. We are on their docket though for working with us for a few different programs, so hopefully we'll see what happens, but that's that.
A lot of confusion right now.
Yeah, I was hoping to have, Charles Bailey's the housing director come by now and start going over like the actual grant process. But now everything's delayed because they don't know what's happening. So, that being said too, one thing that we were talking about today also is that not only something that people don't necessarily realize is not only are the grant funds in question, but a lot of these types of organizations like Delaware Opportunities pay their employees also from the federal money that comes in. So you're talking about, a lot of employment that's up in the air too.
Definitely cause for concern.
Yep.
I guess that's all we have. I hope to see you guys on that Monday meeting, Need your input. Anyways, need a motion to adjourn. Do you have anything else?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for coming. Appreciate it.
Yes.